Could The Little Mermaid 2023 live action movie get an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score? Original Score? Hey everyone, this is Kevin T. Rodriguez, film critic of iCritic.net, and let's talk about this conversation I had on Twitter with a friend of mine. So, she shared, this friend I should say, a for your consideration ad for the 2023 movie The Little Mermaid. A Little Mermaid. No, The Little Mermaid, yeah. It's an early day, what can I say? So, and in this for your consideration ad, it was asking for consideration for the movie in several categories. Best Picture being one of them, Best Actress for Halle Bailey, another one. But the one that, of course, stood out was Best Original Score, which she kind of scoffed because, like, how much of that score is actually original? They were primarily reusing music from the 1989 movie, which did win an Oscar for Best Original Score, but almost all of those musical cues were taken and put into this movie. I'd even like to see the making of featurette for the music of the live action movie, if only because it's like the music is so similar. It's like, did you actually re-record anything? I felt this way about the live action Lion King as well. And this started a conversation where I said they're not going to do that. Too much of the music is the same. And like, well, the Academy's ridiculous, so you never know. And it's like, well, the Academy isn't that ridiculous. Like, well, just the fact it's even being considered for an Oscar on anything in Little Mermaid, it's like, it's probably not going to be considered for anything. This is a for your consideration ad. This is just something that studios do, and it's like, well, it's still ridiculous. So I don't know if this was like a tense thing that got way out of hand, or if we're just speaking different languages. But let me kind of explain what a for your consideration ad is, because you know what, I actually see this brought up on Twitter a lot, even by people who review movies. Like, oh my gosh, they're talking about an Oscar nomination for this movie. They're talking about Best Picture for this. Like, that wasn't even worth considering. And here's the thing. The Oscars are a popularity contest. AC just went on. Sorry if you hear that. And one of the things about the Oscars is the Oscar campaign. Now, once in a while, a organic Oscar nomination will get into the field. But for the most part, there is a certain level of campaigning that needs to happen for a movie to get an Oscar nomination. It doesn't matter if you made the best film of all time, if you don't have an ad or a campaign of some sort to get into the awards by basically catching the attention of one of the voting members of the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts and Sciences, then guess what? Your film is not going to get an Oscar nomination. And here's the thing, when you're early in the Oscar season campaign like we are right now, it is late September as of this recording. Oscar voting really doesn't begin full swing until December. It's not uncommon for studios to put out for your consideration ads as not only a means to just show that they kind of care about the movie, to show the people in the movie, like, look, we're going to bat for you. We are advertising for you to get an Oscar nomination. But that's not really what they're doing right now with the Little Mermaid ad. Disney knows very well that the Little Mermaid is not getting any Oscar nominations. Maybe Best Visual Effects, maybe. But that might be the only category that has a shot at getting it. No, this ad is here for the general public, in a way. Because think about it, The Little Mermaid has just dropped on Disney+. It has just dropped on Ultra HD. You can buy the disc. You put an ad like this out, you're doing two things. You are, first of all, advertising the movie. That, hey, it's out, you can buy it, you can watch it, go do so, give us more money. That's one of the parts of the ad. And the other part of the ad is to fill sometimes a contractual obligation that, hey, we will campaign for an Oscar for you. Now, this isn't always how it works, but sometimes it is. Like, I do recall, although I might be wrong, that when Avengers Endgame was being made, one of the terms of Robert Downey Jr.'s contract was that Disney would mount a Best Supporting Actor Oscar campaign. And so for that movie in particular, you saw a few full-page ads advertising Robert Downey Jr. for consideration for Best Supporting Actor. Now, that might not be the case for Little Mermaid. I doubt Halle Bailey is such a narcissist that she would refuse to play Ariel unless Disney campaigned for her for an Oscar for Best Actress in The Little Mermaid. But even if she didn't, this is a way of Disney to say, hey, look, we really appreciate what you're doing, and look, we're going to bat for you at the Academy. We're going to try to get you an Oscar nomination, even if there is no single Oscar ad after this period. Like, if this is the only one, then it doesn't matter. Disney made an attempt. They showed how they cared. And, well, here's the thing. If it happened to sell some Blu-ray discs in the process because it happened to come out around the same time as the Blu-ray, 4K, and DVD release, and of course Disney Plus release, well, then that's just how it works. Here's what you have to keep in mind. For Your Consideration is truly just an ad. It is a studio putting their best foot forward to try to get a film Oscar nominations. Even if it's like pretty obvious that the film isn't Oscar worthy. One that really stood out was when Warner Brothers made a For Your Consideration ad for Superman Returns. They were pushing for it for Best Director, Best Picture, Best Actor for Brandon Routh, Best Supporting Actor for Kevin Spacey, Best Supporting Actress for Kate Bosworth. You know, and it was like, this is ridiculous. Superman Returns is not going to get any Oscar nomination. I've also remember seeing a For Your Consideration ad for Ratatouille that, personally, I think Ratatouille should have been a Best Picture nomination. I think had they campaigned a little harder for it, maybe it would have. But this thing pretty much said For Your Consideration in all categories. They didn't even want to highlight any of the individual artistic achievements of Ratatouille. It was just For Your Consideration for all categories, just to make those cartoonists at Pixar happy or something like that. In fact, there are so many For Your Consideration ads for movies that are just not very good when you get down to it, that's why you really shouldn't take these things seriously. Now, that does not make the Academy Awards ridiculous. What it makes is campaigning for the Academy Awards ridiculous. The fact that pretty much everyone feels like, hey, you need to put an ad forward to get my movie nominated for an Oscar. You know, it's kind of what Hollywood studios do to stroke the egos of the people who make the movies. And it makes you feel a little important. Like, sometimes people do look at that ad and they honestly believe that because this ad was made, that they have a shot at getting an Oscar nomination, even though, no, anyone can make a For Your Consideration ad. In fact, you watching this video, you can call Variety. You can say, hey, I want to take an ad out of your magazine and I want to advertise a movie for Oscar consideration. I want to print a For Your Consideration ad. And they will give you a price on what it will cost and what they will need to make that ad a reality. I don't know if you can do this for movies you personally have not made, but like, if I finished this video and I called Variety and I said, I want to submit this video that you're watching right now for an Oscar consideration for Best Live Action Film, like say, hey, Academy members, don't forget to vote for my little YouTube video this is a For Your Consideration for Best Live Action Short Film. I can do it. I won't get the nomination because, you know, I'm not taking this video to film festivals and things like that. But the thing is, anyone can do this. For Your Consideration ads mean nothing. In fact, until November and maybe late October start coming around, most people and pundits and the Gold Derby, places like that, Awards Daily, they don't even consider For Your Consideration ads to be noteworthy, because this is the time where everyone's just putting a tertiary ad out there, and that's it. They are not being taken that seriously. Once the voting starts, that's when you're going to start seeing, like, you're going to see the Barbie ads pretty frequently. You're going to see the Oppenheimer ads pretty frequently. You're going to see the Poor Things ads pretty frequently. These are FYCs that you will see quite frequently. What you will not see is you will not see any more the Little Mermaid ads for your consideration, unless it gets a nomination in some predecessor award for something. If it gets like a Saturn nomination for visual effects or something, they might highlight that and put a second one out there. But right now, this FYC ad is to sell you the movie on Disney Plus and Ultra HD and Blu-ray. But you will know that the studios are serious when the same movie gets it over and over and over again. That means that movie has gotten some predecessor love. It's wound up on some top 10 best films of the year list. And these are the movies that the studios truly believe will get nominated. Doesn't mean they will, but it means they believe it hard enough that they're going to spend real money on it. The Little Mermaid FYC is just to advertise a movie and to stroke some egos. And by the way, there's going to be more of this later on. Sound of Freedom, that's going to get an FYC ad in the trade paper somewhere. Elemental, that's going to get an FYC ad. Ruby Gilman is going to get an FYC ad, even though I enjoyed it. It's not going to get a nomination. Cute movie, fun movie, but they'll make an FYC ad because they can. That's how it works this early in the game. So I'm even going to take this moment to just put up some random for your consideration ads that are real things that you can see while we close this video out. As you can see, they're not discerning at all about what movies they buy these ads for, but so don't take these ads too seriously. They're marketing. It's no more than a commercial. It doesn't mean anything when the Academy Awards finally come around, so there you go. But anyway, I would like to know what you think about these ads, and do they ever get you to honestly stop and think like, oh yeah, that movie could get an Oscar nomination, or do you just see them as ads like anyone else? I mean, I remember when I was younger and seeing a For Your Consideration ad for Spirited Away that was pushing it for 14 categories. I honestly thought, oh wow, this is going to be the first anime to get more than one Oscar nomination, and it didn't. There was just one Oscar nomination at the end of the day. But I would love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.